Pyramid is for the dead. Some, I don't know what to call them, such people are promoting pyramid as a meditative process.
The temples of Egypt should have been celebrated. And the defacement of these temples, who did such a crime? Even a caveman, if he walks into this temple, he cannot help being overwhelmed. The columns are standing 27 meters tall. Hundreds of them, not one or two. Even if a caveman without any sense of aesthetics walked into this place, he cannot help being overwhelmed.
Despite centuries of exploration, researchers continue to discover new chambers and passageways within the Great Pyramid. In 2017, using advanced scanning technology, scientists found a large, previously unknown void above the Grand Gallery. This discovery suggests that there may still be hidden rooms or structures within the pyramid that have yet to be explored. The Pyramidion capstone. At the very top of ancient pyramids, including the Great Pyramid, there was once a capstone called a Pyramidion, made from highly polished stone or possibly covered in gold. The Pyramidion would have reflected sunlight and made the pyramid shine brightly, symbolizing a connection between the pharaoh and the sun god Ra. Unfortunately, the original capstone of the Great Pyramid is lost and its exact composition remains a mystery. Sophisticated internal structure. The pyramids are not solid structures. They have a complex internal layout. The Great Pyramid, for instance, contains a series of chambers, including the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber and Subterranean Chamber. These chambers are connected by narrow passageways, and the Great Pyramid also features the Grand Gallery, a long ascending corridor with an impressive vaulted ceiling. These intricate internal features demonstrate advanced architectural planning and engineering skills. Mysterious construction techniques. The exact methods used to construct the pyramids remain a subject of debate. While it's believed that ramps were used to haul the massive stone blocks into place, the logistics of constructing such an enormous structure with such precision are still not fully understood. Some theories suggest that the workers used straight or spiral ramps, while others propose a combination of techniques including cranes and levers. The mystery of how the ancient Egyptians managed to achieve such feats of engineering continues to intrigue scholars and historians. Symbolism of the pyramid shape. The pyramid shape was chosen not just for its structural stability but also its symbolic significance. In ancient Egyptian cosmology, the pyramid was seen as a representation of the primordial mound from which the earth was created. The pyramid's pointed shape was also associated with the sun's rays, suggesting that the pharaohs could ascend to the sky and join the gods in the afterlife. This dual function of the pyramid as both a tomb and a spiritual conduit reflects the Egyptians' profound beliefs in life after death.
Who became meditative in a pyramid structure? Pyramid was created to keep the dead. Pyramids were built for the dead, not for the living. Yes? If you build a pyramid, even if you make a paper pyramid, you can experiment with this. A pyramid should have an angle of 56 degrees at the top, all the four angles. If you make a pyramid with exact 56 degrees, even a simple paper pyramid, you take a vegetable. If it's in a tropical climate, you can check this very easily. Suppose there's a vegetable or a fruit which would normally rot in 3 or 4 days. Take it, place it in one place and a paper pyramid, ensuring that the angles are correct. Keep it on it. Leave it for a week or 10 days. You open and see, there'll be no rotting process. It'll be shriveled up, but there'll be no rotting. Because there are 5 manifestations of prana. One of them is called as vyana. Vyana prana, these are prana, apana, udana, samana and vyana. There are 5 manifestations of energy within the system. Vyana is in charge of the preservative nature of the body. So if you create a pyramidal form, this vyana gathers and naturally something can be preserved for a long time. You heard of the mummies, even their epithelial cells are still kept that way. They also did lots of work. It's a lot of nasty work. Have you seen a mummy in reality? Have you been to Egypt? They did lots of work on preserving the dead because of some fancy beliefs that they had. but it is essentially about preservation. No, I know a lot of people, pyramid societies are promoting you can meditate under a pyramid. Pyramid is not for meditation. Pyramid for is keeping the dead. If you want to preserve your great-grandfather, you can build a pyramid. But I would say, why bother the dead? Leave the dead to the dead. The living are your concern, isn't it? Yes? This one and the other ones around you, the living should be your concern, not the dead. Pyramid is for the dead. I don't know what to call them. Such people are promoting pyramid as a meditative process. Pyramid has nothing to do with meditation, okay? You need to understand, meditation is not some kind of an act, it is a certain quality. If you cultivate your body, if you cultivate your mind, if you cultivate your emotions and your energy to a certain level of maturity, meditation will blossom. You can't stop it. You try hard and try to meditate, you will lose your 2 marbles that you have in your head, that will also fall off. Yes. You do not try to flower, you learn to do gardening, flowers will happen. Yes? You do not try to do flowers. If you try to do flowers, you will end up with plastic flowers, you will not have flowers. You learn gardening. If you want rose flowers in your garden, you don't think roses, you think soil, you think manure, you think water, you think sunlight, isn't it? Like that, you think body, you think mind, you think emotion, you think energy. Do something about it, you will become meditative.
The most important thing in Egypt is not the pyramids, it is the fabulous temples that they built. They built some of the most magnificent temples on this planet, the largest and the most magnificent. You won't see anything like that in India. Most of them were built for sun god and certain goddesses. The sun god in Egypt is referred to as Ra. What do you call sun? There are many names, you know. Ravi. And today, most of the world's history was written by the English, the British. Generally, either history was written by the conquering generals or by the conquering priests. Both of them are vested interests. There's a whole parallel line of history written by the French. French historians wrote history, which is barely read in the world. All our textbooks, the Indian textbooks, are 100% by the British authors. So these people write a certain kind of history, which is the history of the generals and the priests. But the Egyptian culture is all about temples, huge. Somebody worships a pyramid, which is a place of death. So they are very death-oriented. So when they saw the temples full of life, music, dance, revelry, life, they didn't like it. It looked most irreligious to them. They wanted to pull down the temples, but these were too massive, massive. Massive means you would not imagine buildings like that. I would like a meditation hall like that, but the Egyptian temples are truly massive, truly massive. The Karnak temple, which is one of the well-preserved lot, which is over 4,600 years old, is something like I may not be exact on this, I would say it is something like 20 times the Rameshwaram temple that we have, which is one of the largest temples we have. That's how large it is. And in terms of its height, it is running into, really fabulous heights. Above all, what kind of devotion must have driven these people 4 millenniums ago to handle rocks like this? Some of these pylons which they have made, which have made them stand up, which have been transported hundreds of kilometers down the river Nile and erected, they are stones which weigh over 400 to 500 tons, running to 27 meters tall. What kind of devotion must have driven these people to do this kind of work? No machines, no trucks, no cranes, just human beings. It takes phenomenal sense of devotion and sense of purpose for anybody to do this. And today French historians are writing that Egyptian culture was connected with the Vedic culture 7,000 years ago. And the builders went from here, from this land. This you can see in Baalbek temple in Lebanon, which is once again about 4,200 years old. Once again, it's a fabulous, fabulous feat. They don't have any granite in the area, so they brought it from Egypt. They transported it across what is now Suez Canal, and they brought it up through Syria and climbed up the mountains, which is over 350 to 360 kilometers of climb on the mountain, and they put it up there, a huge temple, a Phoenician temple which was built almost 4,200 years ago. And here you will see lotuses hanging from the ceiling. A lotus in Lebanon, there is no such possibility because these are Indian sculptors. So there is history in Lebanon which clearly says Indian elephants, Indian labor and Indian sculptors came and worked here. And the most amazing thing for me was, I saw a 16-pointed stone. Even today when we do the Guru Puja, Guru Puja is essentially, in the yogic parlance, it is known as Shodashopachara. That means 16 ways of treating a guru. That's what Guru Puja is. So usually we have a Guru Puja stone which we still don't have in the ashram because of whatever. We're still putting up the stones, the standing ones. This 16-pointed Guru Puja stone, which is prepared traditionally in a certain way, is essentially from the yogic culture. It cannot come from anywhere else. You will see a proper Guru Puja stone with all the necessary symbols and everything in Lebanon, which is over 4,000 years old. So today, lot of French historians have published many aspects of history. So pyramids are just one aspect, but they have become very popular because of very death-oriented people. The temples of Egypt should have been celebrated. And the defacement of these temples, who did such a crime? Even a caveman, if he walks into this temple, he cannot help being overwhelmed. The columns are standing 27 meters tall. Hundreds of them, not one or two. Even if a caveman without any sense of aesthetics walked into this place, he cannot help being overwhelmed. You don't need to be an artist. You don't need to be a connoisseur of art. The crudest human being, if he walks in, he will be overwhelmed by what's been done there. Nobody can miss it. This is the way to build a temple, that nobody can miss it. Temple is not for one specialized sadhaka, that nobody should be able to miss it. That's how overwhelming it should be. And the structure and the ambience of that is as important as the energy of that place, because otherwise people will miss it. They built the right kind of temple as a temple should be built. But these people who defaced the temples, they wrote the history and they talked only about the pyramids. That was fascinating for them. This they wanted to demolish. They would have razed it to ground if they could, but it was too much work, they couldn't do it. Otherwise they would have just finished it.